On Thanksgiving Eve 1971, a man bought a ticket for a short flight. He was calm, polite, and wore a simple suit. He ordered a bourbon, lit a cigarette, and then handed a note to a flight attendant. It said he had a bomb. In a few hours, he would demand $200,000, parachute out of a plane into a storm, and vanish. No one knows who he was. No one knows where he went. And for over 50 years, the FBI has been searching for him. This is the story of D.B. Cooper, the perfect skyjacker, the man who truly vanished into thin air. But what if he didn't? The following story delves into an unsolved federal crime involving a hijacking and disappearance. All information presented is based on documented facts, eyewitness accounts, and FBI investigations. Viewer discretion is advised regarding the details of the crime. If you're fascinated by the unbelievable, by tales of clever criminals and vanishing acts, then you're in the right place. Please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It was November 24th, 1971, the day before Thanksgiving. Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305 was a routine 30-minute journey from Portland, Oregon to Seattle, Washington. On board, 36 passengers and 6 crew members. Among them, a man who called himself Dan Cooper, who's in his mid-40s, wearing a dark suit, a neat black tie, and a white shirt. He looked like an ordinary businessman. He settled into seat 18C, ordered a bourbon and soda, and lit a cigarette. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. The flight took off at 2:50 p.m. Soon after, as the plane leveled off, Cooper handed a note to Florence Schaffner, the flight attendant nearest to him. Schaffner, thinking it was a lonely businessman hitting on her, put the note unread into her purse. Cooper leaned in. "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." She opened the note. In neat all-caps handwriting, it detailed his demands. $200,000 in $20 bills for parachutes, and a fuel truck waiting at Seattle Airport. Terrified, Schaffner went to the cockpit. Captain William Scott radioed air traffic control. The FBI was immediately notified. The plane circled above Seattle for 2 hours, burning off fuel, while authorities scrambled to meet Cooper's demands. The other passengers, oblivious to the drama unfolding, were told there was a minor mechanical problem. At 5:39 p.m., after 2 tense hours, Flight 305 finally landed at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. The plane was directed to an isolated, dimly lit part of the tarmac. On the ground, FBI agents and local police surrounded the area, hidden from view. Cooper's demands were met. A Northwest Orient employee delivered a briefcase containing $200,000 in $20 bills unmarked, but with recorded serial numbers and 4 parachutes to primary and to reserve. Cooper allowed the 36 passengers to disembark. He kept the flight crew and Florence Schaffner, the flight attendant, on board. He then demanded the aircraft be refueled. The plan was not over. It was just beginning. With the passengers safely off and the plane refueled, Cooper revealed the next phase of his meticulously planned escape. He instructed Captain Scott to fly south-southeast towards Mexico City. At an altitude no higher than 10,000 feet, at a slow speed of just 100 knots, about 185 kilometers per hour, and with the landing gear extended, crucially, he demanded the cabin remain unpressurized and the rear air stair, the unique built-in staircase at the tail of the bowing 727, be kept open during flight. These were precise technical demands that immediately signaled he knew exactly what he was doing, He was not just a common criminal. He was an expert, likely with aviation experience, who had studied every detail of the Boeing 727's design. This wasn't a desperate act. This was an escape plan designed by a master. At 7:46 p.m., Flight 305 took off again, heading south-southeast. Behind it, military jets were ordered to follow, but due to visibility and the peculiar flight conditions, they struggled to keep pace. Cooper, calm as ever, instructed the remaining flight attendant, Tina Muklo, to join the rest of the crew in the cockpit and remain there. Alone in the passenger cabin, he put on a parachute. He secured the bag of ransom money to his body. Then, over a treacherous, storm-lashed area of southwestern Washington state, sometime between 8 p.m. and 8:15 p.m., in pitch darkness, driving rain, and strong winds, Dan Cooper opened the rear air stair and jumped. With $200,000 strapped to his body, into the freezing night, into the unknown, he vanished into the abyss, just like that. The remaining crew landed the plane safely in Reno, Nevada at 10:15 p.m. The FBI immediately launched one of the most extensive and expensive manhunts in U.S. history. Hundreds of agents, led by Special Agent Ralph Himmelsbach, scoured the rugged terrain of southwestern Washington, dense forests, rivers, mountains. They used helicopters, boats, ground troops, even dragnet operations, but found nothing. No parachute, no money, no body. No trace of Don Cooper. The case became a national obsession, sparking countless theories. Was he an experienced paratrooper, former military man, a disgruntled airline employee, or simply a desperate man who got lucky? For 9 years, the trail went completely cold. Case became a legend, a campfire story, the ultimate unsolved mystery. Then in February 1980, an 8-year-old boy named Brian Ingram was digging for sand on the banks of the Columbia River near Vancouver, Washington. His shovel hit something. It was a package of old, decaying $20 bills rubber-banded together. The serial numbers matched the ransom money given to D.B. Cooper. Suddenly, the impossible had a new, tantalizing clue. The discovery suggested two main theories. Either Cooper had died during his jump, and his body, along with the money, had washed downriver, or he had survived, but somehow lost a portion of the ransom during his treacherous landing or escape. But only $5,800 out of $200,000 was found. Where was the rest? Despite the partial recovery of the money, the identity of D.B. Cooper remains one of the most enduring mysteries in modern history. Hundreds of suspects have been investigated. Was it Richard McCoy, a paratrooper and bank robber who staged a similar hijacking just a few months later? Or Robert Rackstraw, a former military pilot with a suspicious past? Each lead led to a dead end. In 2016, after 45 years, the FBI officially suspended its active investigation, stating they had exhausted all credible leads. Yet, the legend of D.B. Cooper lives on, remains the only unsolved skyjacker in U.S. history. An ordinary man who, for one night, became an impossible legend. He challenged the system, took what he wanted, and then simply disappeared. So, was D.B. Cooper a genius criminal who pulled off the impossible and lived to tell the tale? Or did he perish in the unforgiving wilderness, his body and the bulk of his fortune lost forever to the elements? For over half a century, his story has captivated the world, proving that sometimes the greatest thrillers are not found in fiction, but in the unsolved pages of true history. His legend is a testament to the enduring power of mystery. What do you believe happened to D.B. Cooper? Did he survive? Share your theories in the comments below. And if you love diving into history's most unbelievable and darkest secrets, remember to like, subscribe, and join our community.